to True Crime Thursday. Welcome back to Thursday. Welcome back to Friday Eve.
Oh, that makes it.
Valentine's Day Eve.
Oh, see, because I don't celebrate Valentine's Day. I didn't even know that.
That's so crazy, Dad, because you're such a nice person that you're such a gentleman that I feel
Maybe,
like you could
maybe I'll
really
get.
thrive on
Yeah,
Valentine's
no,
Day.
maybe we'll go get some Krispy Kreme Valentine's donuts or something like that.
Ooh, that's fun. That's fun. Can I have one?
So, sure.
Duncan had some good looking ones too with like the brownie batter inside and stuff.
Yeah. I just saw a picture of the Krispy Kreme ones. I don't even know what's in them.
But I really am like a regular donut girl. I'm not, trying to have stuff in my
You're a
donuts.
regular donut girl. Oh, I thought you meant you
Oh,
really like
no.
donuts. Like
No,
I'm
no,
a
no,
regular
no, no.
donut girl.
I really couldn't tell you the last time I had a donut. But
Yeah.
anyways, we're not talking about my sweet tooth
No.
today. We're
No.
talking about something that I'm pretty sure everybody has heard about at this point.
Yeah.
Nancy Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie, her daughter or her mom,
Right.
Savannah Guthrie's mom, Nancy
Right.
Guthrie. So, yeah, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about all
Yeah.
the info. So, we're recording this on Wednesday night. So,
Yeah.
this is
Everything will be
all,
up to date as of Wednesday night, and it's
yeah.
obviously it's a changing story, so we may, things may change by the time by the time this posts. We'll
Yeah,
see.
because even when we talked about it earlier this week, there still wasn't, there was info out, but we've
Yeah.
gotten so much more things the last couple days. We have, footage, still photos of
Yeah.
from the Nest cam, which interestingly enough, they had said initially that they couldn't get that footage because she didn't have the subscription, but then
Yeah.
somehow were able to dig it up, which I thought was weird when they said at first that they couldn't get it anyway, because
Yeah, I did
I don't
too.
know, I just feel like the way technology is, there's always, if it recorded, there's a track of it somewhere. So
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know why
and
it
I
took
don't know
7 days.
I don't know how the Nest plans work, but I know with
Yeah,
like other like we had Ring at one point, and it was like if you
yeah,
had the paid plan, they'd store more, but if you had the free plan, they wouldn't store as much. So the data is going back to them either way.
well, like
Um,
I used to have Nest, and after a while I didn't pay for the subscription. But when you don't pay for the subscription, it'll still show like on your app the still photo. But
right,
you can't, it never like recorded the, like for me to actually go back and view.
right.
Or maybe it was like after a certain amount of time I couldn't go back and view it,
Yeah, yeah,
but I could always watch it live. Like I don't know, I just feel like it's always recording anyway, so that's stored somewhere with the company.
right,
So, I don't know. I feel
right.
like it took
Yeah,
kind of too long.
and we yeah, we have Arlo cameras and we have one Wise camera. And the
Yeah.
Arlo cameras I pay for a subscription for, and those are always recording. We get notifications. I can go back and look. The Wise camera, I had a pay plan and then I dropped it, and that's how the Wise camera is. If something's going on, I can look at the camera and see it. I think it'll show me a still photo, but it won't show video
Yeah.
because I don't
So,
have the pay plan. Nice thing about the Wise cameras is they can have an SD card in them though, and even if you don't have the pay plan, it'll record to the device, which may be
yeah.
what the person that took the Ring camera or the Nest camera
Was thinking.
thought was the case. That well, if I take the camera, it won't be, they won't be able to get anything from it. That I
Yeah.
heard someone today talking about that, saying that may actually come back to haunt them because if the camera kept recording after he disconnected it, because those operate off of a battery, and
True.
if it was still within Wi-Fi range, it may have actually sent more data than what they've already released, more video than what they've already released. So
True. Yeah.
interesting. Do you want to go over the timeline, what we know so far?
Yes. So, okay. Let me go back to my other document. Okay, so this started on um, January 31st. This was the last known sighting of Nancy. She was with her daughter and her son in law. So January 31st, last known sighting at 5:32 p.m. She took an Uber to her family to meet them for dinner. And then at 9:48 p.m., her son-in-law dropped her off at her Tucson, Arizona home. At 9:50 p.m., her garage door closed after she entered her home. Which side note, sidebar, uh have you seen a picture of her house? It's
Yes.
huge. Huge. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel like
Yeah.
because she's alone and in a house that big, I just would never want to live in a house that big by myself cuz you can't hear if somebody's coming in the back and you're in the front. Like, I would never.
That's
But
true.
outside of that, I, through a little Google research, she's lived in that home for like 50 years though. She's lived there
Oh
since
wow.
1970 something. She's lived there for a long time.
Huh.
She lived there back when her husband was still alive, and I'm assuming since her
Did
kids.
not know that.
Yeah, she's lived there for a
Yeah,
really long
and
time, so it's always been a safe neighborhood apparently, and there's never been
hmm
any issues or anything like that. So even I guess to say like, man, but why wouldn't her family walk her to the door and make sure she's inside safe and stuff? Like, she was able-bodied and, in
yeah.
pretty good shape for an 84-year-old. So, and since there's never been any
Well, they
issues there
said though that
before,
she had limited mobility,
up to
so
50
that makes you
yards.
curious.
After 50 yards, she needed help walking, which I don't know. I feel like that's pretty
Oh,
far.
okay.
50
Okay.
yards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, also, I mean, I heard somebody suggesting that 2 minutes was a long time between 9:48 when she was dropped off and 9:50 when the garage door closed. Like they were like, "Well, did somebody sneak in while the garage door was open?" I'm like,
Pretty big
well, two
driveway
minutes isn't
though.
that long.
It's a
Yeah,
pretty
two
big,
minutes isn't.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
2
They
minutes.
also said that the properties around there are designed so that you have privacy from your neighbors. So the way the properties are oriented and the plants that are there and all that are intended to make it feel like you don't have neighbors right around you, even though you do, which could have, that could lead to
Yeah.
somebody being able to sneak up to your house and that.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
continue.
yeah, 2 minutes. I don't think that's crazy. If she's like, she's older, I'm sure she's not,
Hmm.
speed walking to the door
Right.
by the time she
Exactly.
gets. Yeah, I don't think that's too crazy. Um,
Yeah.
so then February 1st, this was the night of her disappearance. Well, yeah. Um,
Right.
so basically the night that she got back home in the middle of the night is when
Right.
it happened. So at 1:47 a.m., that is when her doorbell camera at her house was disconnected. And then at 2:12 a.m., camera software detects motion. There was no actual recorded video available at that time. And then at 2:28, her pacemaker app disconnected from her phone, which I believe it's connected through Wi-Fi. I don't, so because I was hearing mixed
No, I
things.
had read it's Bluetooth. I had
Yeah.
read it's Bluetooth.
So it doesn't mean that like her pacemaker is off. It just means
Right,
that it's
right.
not near her phone. And then I also heard
It's not in range.
someone who like had a pacemaker, they were saying that basically like when you like the hospital technically can like log in and see if your heart stopped or anything. Like that's how they've solved some cases before. Well, not solved them, but came to conclusions with some. But
Right.
if it's not connected to her phone, then they can't see anything on their end. Like
Right.
it has to be
Right.
connected to her phone.
Right, but I had heard, so one of the things that they suggested though was that, so first of all, that's what, a 41 minute time frame between when the doorbell camera was disconnected and when her pacemaker disconnected from her phone. Now, the range on something like that, from what I've read, I mean, Bluetooth range can be anywhere from 10 to 30 feet, but they said more realistically, because of the walls in the house and that it would be going through, it would be more like 10 to 15 feet. So it basically was, that tells me, depending on where her cell phone was in the house, like by the time she was outside of her house, they, that's when, or shortly after she was outside of the house, that's when it disconnected. So that 2:28 time frame to me would indicate that that's right around the time they took her out of the house.
Yeah, so some people think that like that, but so the timeline part that I don't understand is at 1:47 it was disconnected. So that's when on the video that came out yesterday or today, whenever it was, um
Mm-hmm.
that right there when he walked up, that's when he did something to it. But
Right.
what confuses me is then 15 minutes later at 2:12, that's when it detected motion.
I've
So,
they've suggested though that that was a different camera that detected motion at 2:28. So
okay.
was that a camera? So
2:20,
did
no,
he
at
this
2:12.
or 2:12?
Yeah.
Right. So did he go and a lot of the people that I've seen talk about it too that are like in law enforcement and that have said when you watch this guy and the way he moves, like the whole thing of grabbing a piece of the rose
The
bush or
plant,
whatever it was
yeah.
out front to try to hide from the thing, it's almost like he walked up there not realizing that there was a doorbell camera there and didn't know what to do at that point, so that's when he took it off the wall. What I wonder is, did he do that and then it took him a while, or he went around the house at that point? There are some things that I've seen suggested that like he went around the house and went in the back.
So, so yeah, because so 2:28 people are saying, so that means he was in the house for about 40 minutes. A lot of people are, a lot of reports that I've seen, they're basically assuming that by the time that they left the house, she was already dead by that time. That he did something to her inside the house. That's where the blood came from. The drops of blood came from, and mostly just because which makes sense, especially with which we'll get to it, but all the ransom situations or like stories out there, and if you're gonna just go in and kidnap somebody and hold them for ransom or whatever, if you're just trying to kidnap someone and keep them alive, you're not going to spend 40 minutes inside the house.
True.
You're going to
True.
snatch them, do whatever. In the video, too, of him wearing his backpack when he walked up to the door, well, there, I just said it. When he's walking up to the door, you can also see that he has a backpack. So that also makes me wonder what was in his backpack.
Yeah, I heard a few of again the law enforcement type suggesting that could have been like an abduction kit. The guy kind of referred to it as like zip ties, duct tape,
I just
that
feel
kind of thing.
she's an older woman. I don't think there was much of probably a like a fight back. I mean, who knows? Maybe, but you
Right.
never know.
Right.
I think Grammy would beat someone down. Okay.
Probably. That's
um,
probably true.
but yeah, so they're assuming there wasn't much of like a fight back on her end. So if they are
Right.
abducting her and just kidnapping her, even if you're doing all that, I just don't think it would take 40 minutes.
Right.
That's just my opinion. Also, he's by himself. How else would he, but how would he carry a, 84-year-old grown woman out of the house if she was
Right.
not alive anymore? Like
Right.
she looked
True.
regular size. It didn't look like, she was just someone that he could throw over her shoulder. He looked like a bigger I think they said they're assuming about 5'11". So it's not like he's this big huge guy. He's pretty average,
Hmm.
you know.
Right. Right. The thing that I wonder though is like they found blood on the porch or the
And did you
entryway.
see it? It was just like
Um.
splattered blood.
Yeah. Yeah. But I haven't heard that there was any like evidence inside the house of any like
There was blood
scuffle or anything
inside.
like that.
There was blood inside that
Oh.
they found too, but not like I don't know. I haven't heard if they like searched it enough to where they're using like luminol to see if there was a cleanup
Right.
job or anything done.
Right, right,
or if it was just like the amount of blood that would come if you like injured her to
right.
scare her into listening to you to leave.
Right, into, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
okay. So starting later in the day, after her pacemaker was disconnected at 11 a.m., one of her friends was expecting her at church the next morning, and when she didn't show up or answer phone calls or anything like that. I mean, her not showing up in general was a red flag, but the fact that then she's not answering phone calls, like, double red flag. So at that point they contacted her family, and at 11:56 a.m., almost an hour later, that's when her family members went to her home and noticed that she was missing, but that her belongings were still inside, which is always a red flag as well when someone's missing and they don't take anything with them. Um, at 12:03, that's when her family called 911 to report that she was missing, and at 12:15, the police ended up arriving at the home. Um, so let's see. Okay, so this is between the second and the third. Um, this is when the authorities began treating the case as a criminal investigation. This was early Sunday evening, and that's when they decided that foul play is likely. Again, what kind of surprises me is that so what they thought basically was that she didn't just walk away willingly because of her, mobility issues. What's weird is they say when they're saying that there's no sign of forced entry. That's weird to me because part of me is like, well, it can't be a family member or somebody that she knows, because then they would know that she had the Ring camera, and
Right.
they I don't know, but did they know that she had the Ring camera, and that's why? So my personal theory is that it's somebody that she knows to an extent, because who's opening the door to anybody at 2 a.m.?
Well, so one of the theories I heard on this, though, is that person didn't go in the front door because, yeah, there was no signs of forced entry. What they did was they went in the back door because by chance the back sliding door maybe was left open. Like maybe that explains the timeline between when he disconnected the Ring camera and when the other camera detected motion. Like that by itself was about a
Oh.
20-minute-ish time span.
So
And
finding like a
then
window or something open.
exactly. And then he went in
Mm.
that way. So then it makes it that okay, so he was sneaking around the house for, a half hour or whatever it ends up being. And then got his way in, and then that 12 minutes or maybe less between when that
Makes more
camera
sense.
detected something but didn't record anything and when the pacemaker disconnected. I mean, because you figure if that was 212, so what is that, 16 minutes? But if that captured him before he found the window or sliding door or whatever that was left open, and the time when the pacemaker disconnected, that's only 16 minutes, and then take that down because, well, you got to have time then for him to have gotten into the house, gotten to her, and
Found
took her
her.
out. So maybe that was
Hmm.
only a 10-minute time span that he was actually in the house, something like that. 10 minutes is still a long time if you're doing that. But, um, you know, maybe it was like, okay, come on, get yourself up, get, whatever. And him, getting her ready to be abducted. I mean,
Forcing her out
and
of the house.
yeah, exactly. To get your
True.
shoes on, whatever. Um,
Oh my
the
God, that's
thing
so
to me
sad.
about it is the question is like, because I've heard a lot of different things. People have said maybe it was a home invasion gone wrong, and she woke up when he was in there trying to steal stuff and he killed her and took her out. Well, to your point, he was by himself. So for him to have dragged her body out of there, if he did kill her
There would be a
in the
lot more
house,
evidence of that.
there'd be more blood.
Yeah.
There'd be a lot more going on there. I do
Yeah.
think it was a kidnapping. I don't know to what end. I don't know if the intention. I don't know if because there's been several ransom notes now that for
The
whatever reason have
ransom,
gone to TMZ because
that's what I was gonna say. The
that's weird.
ransom notes are a little weird unless it's like I don't know. I think normally when people are doing ransom situations, he would have left a note on the scene. He would have left a ransom note in the house, like,
Right.
I have her. This is
That
what you need to
said,
do. That's like
yeah,
Zodiac killer vibes, where he's
yeah,
just like contacting the media
yeah,
instead of
true.
just, I don't know. It's
But
just kind
that
of weird
But
to
that
me.
said, they also said the guy didn't look like he knew what he was doing. So this may have been a really ill-conceived thing where, now the guy that they because to go further into it, right, yesterday, which was Monday, which was the I don't know what day
10th.
of the week it is, the 10th, right?
No, yesterday was
Actually,
Tuesday.
yesterday was Tuesday, which was the 10th. But yesterday was
Yeah,
really Wednesday because this is coming out on Thursday. But
right.
anyway, Tuesday the 10th,
Which makes everything
they
more
released
confusing.
yeah, that's all right. Tuesday the 10th, they released the photos first and then the video of this person. I mean, let's just put whoever took her on the
Yeah,
front porch. I mean, it's not a coincidence that there was a guy in a ski mask on the front porch messing with the camera right in that time frame. Um,
true.
but then after they released all that yesterday, SWAT teams from from the local sheriffs went to a house somewhere in the area, and they had a guy that they detained, and this guy apparently was a delivery driver, so like an Uber Eats or a DoorDash driver,
Oh, yeah.
who um, resembled the person in the mask. Granted, you can't see the person in the mask because they're wearing a mask, but you can get the build, you can get general like the eyes. Apparently, they showed the photo to somebody who knew this guy, and they said that it looked like his eyes.
It was
Um,
did you hear who it was? I was just talking to Grammy about it tonight.
it
It was
was yeah,
it was his mother-in-law.
yeah. His
Isn't
mother-in-law
that
does not like
hilarious?
him. Yeah, his
Yeah,
mother-in-law does
like
not.
just say you
That
hate
looks
him.
just like my son-in-law. Yeah, yeah.
How do you
But
forgive your mother-in-law after that?
exactly right. You tried to turn me into the police for something I didn't do.
And
Um,
then he's
but
free
the
already. Yeah,
Yeah,
he already
but
got
the
released.
thing of it is, they said, well, they wouldn't have done that. They wouldn't have just taken him unless they had other reasons, like did they have
Yeah,
cell phone pings for him in that area because he's a delivery
true.
driver? But it had me thinking, you know, could this person be somebody who was like maybe a delivery driver in that area or something like that? Who
Maybe,
somebody
yeah.
said, oh, you know who lives in that house? Savannah Guthrie's mother lives there. And this person got an ill-conceived idea to do this, had no idea what they were doing with it, just came up
True.
with a harebrained plan to do it, and it hasn't gone the way he might have hoped. I don't know. Um, Being that she's somebody who is like has drugs, prescription drugs she needs to be taking, you get concerned. Somebody with a heart condition like that on prescription
Yeah.
drugs that it's been now over a week since
So
this
they did
happened. That
say, yeah, they said one of the drugs that she's on, she really shouldn't be without it more than 24 hours. Like it's dangerous if she goes more than 24 hours without it. She was on like blood pressure medicine and
right,
things like that as well. So that's super sad. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can see in the one photo, the one still photo, it looks like you can kind of see a mustache.
yep,
Some people are saying it was a woman. Um, if it is a woman, I don't know, like a more manly woman, no offense.
right, right,
But I think it's a man. You can see like the mustache and stuff. Not to say that
yeah,
a woman can't put a fake one on, but I don't think someone would go through that much effort when they're already wearing a ski mask
right.
to
Yeah,
like
that would
really
be
throw it off.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see that being a thing. Um, but hold on. I'm looking up other things right now. So, my man, before you said that, it's funny because what initially I thought was like, man, maybe it is somebody that she knows and they disconnected the doorbell camera and then took their mask off and knocked on the door so that when she like looked out it, she
Right.
noticed like, oh wait, I know that person.
Right.
Opened the door for him and then did that, but that makes sense with the timeline of that 20 minutes, him just going around and getting lucky and finding a door or window open. I don't know, but at the same time, I'm surprised she doesn't have any kind of security system. But
True.
I guess
If
like
she's
she's
lived in
lived
that
there for
house for
50
50
years.
years, yeah.
You get
Yeah.
comfortable. People were also saying it could have been maybe one of the workers at her house, like any housekeeper, pool person. But again,
The
I think
Uber
that when
driver
you
who took her to dinner at her daughter's house.
true,
Actually,
like
I do
yeah.
know they questioned that person. They did question them.
They also
Um,
questioned all of the people that have worked at her house. I'm
mhm,
assuming those people are probably like long-term people though as well. I don't know. Not to
true.
say that they
Yeah.
couldn't do anything. Like your own family
Hmm.
members could do things.
Hmm.
Someone else that a lot of people have eyes on is her son-in-law. Um,
Yeah. The interesting thing to me when it
Savannah's
comes
sister's husband.
right, the interesting thing to me when it comes to the family is how much time that police have been at her daughter at is it Anne? Is that
Annie.
the other daughter Annie at her house and or around her house? Because today they
They were
were
yeah.
mentioning that they were searching or they were at neighbors' houses around hers, which seemed
So
odd.
they also went to Annie's house and they were taking a bunch of photos and I think they were even leaving with things in boxes and stuff. Um, but apparently that was a consensual search.
Right.
I don't know if they just want to be like taken
Thorough
off
or
that list of no, like Annie and her husband, if they're like, hey, can you just
right.
search our place and like count us out? I don't know if that's the case. I think it is interesting that they also said there's not, at least as far as today, um, there's no sign of any vehicle on the street at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of strange.
Yeah. I mean,
The only they did tow Annie's car though. Annie's car was at the house, and they ended up towing that. Mm, I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
there's no sign of a vehicle.
yeah, that aspect of it is kind of interesting to me. The amount of and we've talked about this on other cases. The first person that they think is responsible is somebody they knew, is a family member,
Mm-hmm.
in all these cases, and I totally get that. But after a point when you're still spending time like searching their house or just spending a bunch of time in that area, it means like it's either one of two things. Either there's really good reason to suspect that it's something involving one of the family members,
Mm-hmm.
or the police are wasting a heck ton of time that the family, when they do find her, is going to be, if they had nothing to do with it, are going to be, really upset about the amount of time they wasted doing that.
Yeah, so I also have something that said how like during all this going on, a gas station employee nearby also spoke out and he said that the authorities had reviewed his surveillance cameras so that they could identify a potential person of interest. Um, what's interesting about this is that this gas station is near Annie Guthrie's house.
Oh,
So, what person? Yeah, yeah, I don't know. Just a little
yeah.
food for
So
thought.
I mean,
Um,
and then the question of like, is it somebody that has a personal vendetta against the family? Maybe, um, you know, maybe the family owes money to somebody, and this is their way of. I don't know. I mean, not to speculate, but isn't that our job?
Yeah, true. That's it. That's what we do. Yeah, it says that the gas station that they were searching for a person of interest, it was close to Annie's house, but about 10 or 15 minutes from Annie or from Nancy's house. So, yeah, take that for what you want.
Yeah.
Um, then on Sunday, that's when there was lots of police activity around Annie's house, solely focused on Nancy's house at her property and the surrounding areas. Um, oh, also during this time, investigators were searching what appeared to be a septic tank, a manhole, and some sort of water storage in the ground as well to see if, I don't know, she was disposed of there, assuming again, like
Right.
if they did do anything. Again, a lot of people are thinking that she was dead when she left the house, but I don't know, looking at the timeline over again, it just doesn't really make sense the
Yeah.
evidence that they found. I think there would be a whole lot more evidence
Right.
if that did happen in the house,
Yeah.
you
One
know.
of the other. I'm just thinking about this too. One of the other aspects with the pacemaker, uh, connection thing that they talked about that and I'm assuming they already have this information, but I've heard people speculate on if something did happen, that was like high stress, would there have been an indication on the data that it captured when that happened that they would know, like, somebody comes in, some unknown person in a ski mask comes in and wakes her up, you know, that's going to shock your system a little bit. And would that have shown up in the,
Oh,
the
yeah.
pacemaker data before it disconnected that they could say, like what was
Yeah.
going on or anything else that might have happened even.
Yeah, that's something I heard as well. That they wonder if that's part of it. They haven't come out. Yeah, it as of today, no vehicles have been identified yet, and no real persons of interest. There's also private security at Annie and Nancy's house.
Yeah.
And then Monday, that was when the second ransom deadline passed at 5 p.m. to the amount of 6 million. So the one before that deadline passed, and that was 4 million. And they had mentioned even in that one, like, if you don't pay, we'll raise it or whatever. So I guess that's what that
Right.
was. But that deadline passed too. The family was also asking, like, for any sign of light, like, show us that she's still alive and we'll move from there. But they
Right.
haven't heard anything like that since either. I think it's also interesting that they wanted to be paid in Bitcoin.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, because I think people have suggested that, oh well, it's not as easy to trace. I guess it's not as easy to trace as if you do like a wire transfer or something like that. But
yeah.
it's not untraceable either. They can trace those transactions.
Yeah. So now both deadlines have passed, which I'm not sure what that means. At the end of the
Yeah,
second one, they said or else. So,
right.
what?
Yeah, and so there was another one today. I guess somebody again contacted TMZ and said that they knew who it was and that they would reveal the name for 1 Bitcoin, and they gave a Bitcoin wallet ID for where to deposit the 1 Bitcoin, which they said at the time that they sent that it would be around 66, I think they said $1,000 is what 1 Bitcoin is right now. They said that's only slightly more than the actual like reward that's been offered, the $50,000 reward that was offered. So, like, why wouldn't you just go that route and be a good person versus saying, pay me first and I'll tell you? Like that sounds like a scammer. That sounds like yet another scammer.
Yeah, because there was that other person who, I think they texted Annie and her husband, and they said, I still haven't received my whatever. It was
Hmm.
a fake person and they found it and they obviously arrested him. But, those kind of situations, they just make a hard situation that much harder. Like,
Right.
y'all need
Right.
to get a life. Like, and what you're doing is illegal. So you're really only playing yourself.
Right. Yeah, I'm just so why video exists without a subscription. This is interesting to me. Even without a paid plan, Nest Camera still uploads short clips to Google servers for processing, motion detection, thumbnail alerts, etc., which makes sense. That's how they know. That's how the app will tell you person at the front door or animal at the front door or whatever. It's
Sound, yeah.
uploading the full clip. Yeah. And it says these clips are usually deleted automatically after a few hours. But deleted often means marked for deletion, not wiped immediately, which is like that's kind of normal for computer systems. Like
Yeah.
when you delete something, it just marks it as though it's deleted, and then you can go back and recover it. Clearly, that's what they were able to do with it, which is like great in this case, especially.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think that is what it did. It did when I had my Nest and I didn't have the subscription. It would come up and say just motion. But I think most of the time it still showed like a still shot.
Right.
So, who knows? We just got the footage from before it was ripped off.
Right.
So, if it was disconnected and there is another camera somewhere, like maybe she did have another Nest like little um camera somewhere, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get more footage from that
Yeah, I've
in
heard
the days to
suggestions
come.
that there probably is more video that the FBI hasn't released yet because it's strategic, in other words, as to why they haven't released it. And the one thing though does say that him disconnecting the camera is actually what probably caused the video to still be available because otherwise with that kind of thing, it only saves like a certain cache of the video, a certain amount of the video for that kind of thing. Because he disconnected the camera, that camera wasn't sending any more video. So in its area of storage, it didn't get overwritten. Otherwise, if he had left the camera alone and just covered it up with a box or something while he was there, it would have overwritten the video and they wouldn't have had anything to go off of. So again, going back to the fact that this person didn't really know what they were doing.
Yeah, and Savannah also came out with her own little message, but I don't know if you heard when she did her separate message, it sounded more like she was talking to the public over like the
Right.
possible abductor. It sounded more like she was just asking like basically for the people's help, if you know anything, if you've seen anything. Cuz I don't know, I just feel like especially if he's not a professional like some people are saying he didn't appear to be. Um I don't know. I just feel like if you're not a professional, how are you just doing that in the middle of the night, especially in 2026 where there's just cameras everywhere, like especially
Mm-hmm.
in a neighborhood like that. I'm assuming everybody has a camera. So,
Right.
even if the properties are made to like make you feel like you're the only one there, you're still not. You still have
Right.
neighbors. You still, if you walk out and you go down the street on the road outside of the driveway in that house property, I'm assuming your neighbors still, their cameras are going to pick up something.
Right.
So, I don't know. Did he leave on a
Yeah.
helicopter? Like, that's what is confusing.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. It's like he couldn't have, just gone through the woods or something like that. There has to be more video that hasn't been released. But then I
They're like
think, well,
holding
if
it.
there was video released that had a vehicle on it, they'd be looking for the vehicle. They'd be telling you that and looking for the vehicle.
I do
Um,
know in a lot of cases, they could have their eye on people or like on somebody, but I know in a lot of cases that I've like listened to in the past, the FBI and shows that I've watched, um, a lot of times, even if they have a suspect in mind, they will keep that person close to their chest for a while until they really have something to like get them on,
Mm-hmm.
or especially if they have like a view of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because for example, if it's a family member that's still around, um, they don't want to let anything out that they think that it could be them, because
Then they
then
might
that
make a run for it.
exactly, or like hurt
Yeah.
somebody else or whatever.
True.
So I do know in a lot of situations like that, they do keep a lot of that tight to their chest before
Right.
actually coming out and saying something, unless it's a situation of like, keep an eye out for this person, or this is who we think it is and we need your help
Right.
finding them, let us know if you see them, do not approach, or whatever. But if they
Right.
have someone near them that they might suspect it is, they're going to keep that tight to their chest until they really
Yeah.
have any actual evidence. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's strange that no car or anything, unless, I mean, that happened at, well, I don't know. I was gonna say that happened in the middle of the night, so maybe he did have a car somewhere, and or a van or something like that nearby, and waited a few hours, like stayed parked there for a few hours to kind of, if somebody does have a camera nearby, like he's leaving her house at 3 a.m.
Oh, right. To
let me
mess
sit
with the
here
timeline.
parked. Let me sit here parked for 2 hours or something like that. I don't know. I don't know if he's smart enough for that, like, but
Yeah. Yeah. You may be giving too much credit.
might be giving too much
Um.
credit. But yeah.
Yeah. I just. It's. This has been an odd case to me because I think every day I wake up in the morning, especially like this morning, because that whole thing with they sent like SWAT to some area, and it was the guy that was the food
Yeah.
delivery driver. You expect to wake up in the morning and hear something new. Oh, well, they found her, or they've named a
Yeah.
suspect. There's this person that they're looking for,
Yeah.
and the fact that this is now going on. I mean, Sunday it'll be 2 weeks, right? That
Mhm.
that they don't know where she is. They don't really know who has her. They kind of have an image of this guy in a ski mask, but we don't know who he is. We don't have an identity on him. Like, it's actually frightening with the idea that this guy didn't know what he was doing, that this has gone on this long.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep. So, if you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel,
Yeah.
subscribe, because maybe if any updates come in over the next week or something like that,
We'll
we
do it.
will
We'll do a live. We'll do a
yeah,
live.
we'll touch base on this and give
Yeah,
more
definitely.
updates. But
Definitely.
hopefully she's found alive. I think a lot of people are assuming it's going to be more of a recovery situation
Right.
instead
But
of,
until
you
that
know,
happens, I don't blame the
yeah.
family for holding out hope because, who wants to
Mhm.
think about the other option?
I know, that's so tough. That's
That's
so
no good.
sad.
That's no
I
good.
hate
Well,
situations like this, like stories like this, because I just
right,
feel very empathetic towards like the victim in the situation, and I think of the mom, Nancy, and I just can't imagine how scared she must have felt and in that
right,
moment, and like that's
right.
just so scary. That's just something
Yeah,
that nobody
which,
wants to experience. You're in your house
yeah,
where you felt safe for so many years. I mean, that could be why she didn't have a crazy security system. Like the doorbell camera could have just been something that her kids like thought she should have or whatever. Like who
right.
knows? But yeah, I did hear something that said that, man, if you have like elderly parents, make sure that you have access to their doorbell cameras, because
Yeah, it's a good,
who
good
knows, in that,
call.
like have a log in your phone of it or something, because who knows? I mean, you can always hindsight, but in that moment, maybe if they got an alert of the doorbell camera or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think you're right when you talk about like, feeling for Nancy and what she, regardless, right, what she has gone through, um,
Yeah.
or is going through. And then there's what the family's going through, and I can feel sympathy there too, because I can only
Yeah.
imagine if, that happened with like, you know, with my parents or,
Mhm.
with your mom's parents, like what you'd be going through. I don't know how you sleep, I don't know how
Yeah.
you must just, lay awake worried until your body gets so exhausted that you can't keep your eyes open anymore. Because I just don't,
Yeah.
I don't know, how you sleep with it, with that, without having, some idea of where they were. It's
Yeah. Like it has
it's a
to be
terrible thing.
such a helpless feeling. Like
Yeah,
there's not much more that you can do except literally like even, Savannah's video, she just to me seems like a pleading daughter that wants her mom back. Like,
yeah,
so sad.
yeah,
So we'll
yeah.
see what
So,
comes up of this.
yep, yep. We'll provide updates as appropriate, and if you found this useful, like and subscribe, and we'll see you on Tuesday.
Bye, everybody.